What's up, folks? Mike from All Things Fish here, and we're finally getting caught up with day 11 of the 12 Days of Christmas contest and giveaway. Now, I know you've been patient, and I appreciate your patience. We're finally caught up. Just day 11 tonight, and then you can expect day 12 on schedule tomorrow before we wrap things up and see what kind of answers we got and distribute some prizes to some winners. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. And we're going to touch on breeding again, and there's a guy across the pond that does quite a few excellent series on how to breed a wide variety of fish. It goes by the name of Mark over at Marks Aquatics, and he did a two-part video series on how to breed Corydoras pygmaeus, or the pygmy cories. Now, he moves a group of pygmy cories to a working tank, he spawns them, and then he tells you how he did it. So let's follow along with Mark's video over at Mark Aquatics on how to breed Corydoras pygmaeus. In the video, what size tank does Mark place his group of Corydoras pygmaeus in to spawn? Again, Corydoras pygmaeus is commonly known as the pygmy cory. He moves a group into a tank to try to get them to spawn. What size is that tank? Question 2. How many cories are in the group that Mark moves into the tank when he's preparing them to spawn? Should be an easy one. On to question 3. What does Mark place into the tank for the Corydoras to lay their eggs on? He puts a couple things in the tank specifically to use as spawning sites. What are they? Now, next question. What temperature does Mark recommend starting the tank at? Now, he does some things later on in the video to trigger a spawn, but what temperature does he suggest starting the tank at to get them to spawn? Why does Mark trickle RO water into the tank? Now, there's a couple reasons he does this, and he has a fairly interesting setup that might be a little more complicated than it needs to be, but it does a great job at getting them to spawn. But what's the whole purpose of trickling the RO water into the tank with the Corydoras? Next question. What live food does Mark suggest for spawning Corydoras? There's a couple of them. Let me know what you think. Like other Corydoras, Corydoras pygmaeus assume a T position when they are actually spawning. Describe what's actually happening during this position as the female physically lays the eggs. Now, if you're going to spawn cories, you're going to need males and females, obviously. How can you visually determine and sex males from females? Next question. What technique does Mark suggest for spawning Corydoras without moving them to a dedicated tank? There are certain things you can do with the fish in a community type tank that you can still trigger spawns and successfully raise fry. Question 10. What male to female ratio does Mark recommend for spawning pygmy cories? And the final question, number 11. What live food does Mark recommend for freshly hatched Corydoras pygmaeus fry? They're quite small, so they're going to need something small to fit in their mouth. What does Mark suggest? Now, I do encourage you to check out many of the other videos and breeding series that Mark over at Marks Aquatic has to offer. But before you do, make sure you find all the answers to these questions. Send them over to me at mike.allthingsfish@gmail.com, and I'll take a look at them, and maybe you'll be a lucky winner. But we won't find out for a couple days yet, as we still have day 12 of the 12 Days of Christmas coming at you tomorrow. So make sure you hit the bell, pay attention to your notifications, and check it out as soon as it happens. Until then, this is Mike at All Things Fish, and we'll see ya